I have to change my shirt because it's the same color as my wall. I wanna drive. Hey everyone, my name is Max Aaron, and I think that I should legally change my name again, but this time to I'm 15, because people still ask how old I am, even in videos where I say it. So a lot of people have been asking me, like, how I started hormones, I guess, like, the process and everything, because people are like, oh, you're so young, I can't do that in my country, what did you have to do? And then other people are asking because they just have no idea, like, what route to take and who to talk to, so I'll explain that. Also, I know a few months ago I made a video talking about how I'm not going to make a lot of trans videos, but yet here we are. It doesn't really matter to me that much anymore. I don't even know what I want for my channel, so we're just playing it by ear. So from the beginning, I started going to therapy when I was 13, and I think for most places you need to be going to therapy for a certain amount of time before you can start hormones. And my therapist recommended that we go to CHOP in Philly, because like that was one of the best ones in the country, and a lot of people like travel from everywhere to try to go to CHOP. And we like called them right away, so I think that I started seeing my therapist either the end of either the end of July or the beginning of August, and we were on the waiting list at CHOP for about 3 months until my first appointment. So my first appointment was in like late October, because I have a huge waiting list and everybody is trying to go there, and they only have like one clinic where they can take care of like hormones and stuff. So what they have you do is they have you go to 3 appointments to meet with this woman that's basically like a therapist and would ask you questions that a normal therapist would ask you, except these sessions are a lot more expensive, lengthy, and invasive. You had to go to these 3 appointments, and for me, I think I only went to 2, and they were like a month or 2 apart because the waiting list is again huge, and they were like a couple $100s for each appointment. It wasn't cheap, but like they were still questions that like a normal therapist would ask you. Like it didn't seem like we were getting anywhere. So back when I was seeing my therapist on like a regular schedule, which was like every 2 or 3 weeks, I was telling her about like how the speed of everything at CHOP is going, and she recommended a different hospital. But I've heard people say that CHOP is for people that like really don't know what they're doing in the process, if that makes any sense. Like if they're not getting help from anyone like a therapist or anything, or they're not reading anything online about what to do with hormones, then they should go to CHOP, because CHOP is going to go in depth into everything that they explain to you and going to like pull you along every step of the way, whereas the new hospital like didn't do that. The new place that I go to isn't even a hospital, it's just like a small clinic. So I started going to Mazzoni on July 5th last year because I think that they had a long waiting list to begin with, and for 3 months we didn't have insurance, so we weren't going to try to schedule with any kind of doctor. But Mazzoni's a lot more affordable and they get things done quicker. Like you can go there, like on your first appointment, if you're not my age, they could probably give you hormones on the first day or like a week later, because they already assume that you know what you want and you know what you're doing. And I did. A lot of people that are like against me being trans and transitioning at 15 are like, oh, you have no idea what you're doing, you know, you're gonna change, you don't know that this is like a sterilizing drug and you don't have kids anymore. Trust me, I am not like, people think that because I'm 15 that means I'm stupid and don't know anything about anything. Obviously I don't have the same like mental capacity and intelligence as an 18-year-old, but I know what I want for myself and what I need to do to get there. So at the first appointment, I was meeting with this one woman that was just asking like basic therapist questions, like when did you come out, how long have you been feeling this way, what do you want to do? And that lasted about like 20 minutes, and then I was brought into another room with this man that was basically talking about like all the medical stuff, and I think my parents were in there too. So July 5th, I don't even think that I was like 14 and a half, so he told me that A, I would have to go on hormone blockers, and B, I would have to wait 6 months for hormones. And just as a side note, I want to talk about this because I don't think I have before. I was supposed to come back a week after that. I think it was like July 15th that I had to come back for the hormone blocker shot, and we have like good insurance, but it's stubborn insurance, so they weren't going to cover any of the cost of that, and we had no idea, but the shot was apparently going to be like $600, so we just left, because they said that it could be anywhere from between like $10 to like $1,000, because the way that they have this agreement with the government, the price can change whenever they want it to. So we just waited until it was not $600. But before that, the doctor that we met with was also saying that I would start on the gel rather than the shots because apparently that makes sense to the clinic. It still doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not going to fight with them. But he like put in a prescription to our CVS, so I was able to pick up the hormones like in July, but I wasn't able to use them. And a bunch of stuff got messed up in the system, so we like weren't able to communicate with this doctor until the 3 months after when we met him. So October 10th comes along, and the doctor is asking me, he's like, you know, have you seen any effects of like the hormone blockers and stuff? Like, has anything negative happened? I'm like, I haven't started them yet. He's like, oh, I thought you did. In the system it says that you did. So, and then my dad was telling him that he picked up the hormones from CVS and has been holding on to them. And the doctor was like, oh, have you started them yet? And I was like, was I allowed to? Like, I could have been on hormones like 3 months before I was told to be, because that's when like he officially told me, he's like, alright, you can go home and like start taking this. But like, I didn't know that when I got it I was allowed to take it, because he probably wouldn't have asked if he wouldn't have cared. So this is the gel stuff that I have to take. It's really gross. You have to like put it under your arms, and now I have to do it on my thighs because last time I got blood work done my testosterone levels were low, and instead of putting me on the shot he just raised my amount of Axiron that I'm taking. And I don't think it's that expensive to my knowledge. It's like $25 for a prescription, and now I get 2 bottles at the same time because my amount was raised. But even for 1 bottle it was like $25, but that's like not that bad. So yeah, a majority of going on hormones is a lot of waiting for doctors, waiting to see results. So again, I've been thinking about taking hormones for like over 2 years now, so it's not some hasty decision that you can make. It's not a hasty decision that I made. It's something that I knew I needed to do, and I'm not having any problem with it. So that was this week's video. I hope it may have answered any of the questions that people were asking about this had. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for new videos every Monday. Bye! Oh my god.